So just having a little fun. Lighten up, Congresswoman. It's late-night TV, not C-SPAN, right, folks? A ripple of polite laughter, forced. Jasmine Crockett doesn't smile back. She just watches him, a slow blink. The camera holds on her face, still waiting. Kimmel shifts in his seat. The smile tightens a fraction. Okay, tough crowd tonight, or maybe just a tough guest. He winks at the audience again, seeking backup. They offer a weaker chuckle this time, uneasy. The silence stretches, just the low hum of the studio lights. Her gaze hasn't moved from his face. It's like she's dissecting the air between them. So, Congresswoman Crockett, you represent Dallas, is it? Big state, Texas, lots happening down there. He leans forward, elbows on the desk, trying to regain control, projecting ease. Part of Dallas County, yes, and surrounding areas. It's a vibrant district, full of hardworking people often overlooked by conversations happening in rooms like this. Her voice is calm, even, but the last phrase lands with a quiet thud. Rooms like this? Ouch, are we getting congressional shade already? He laughs a little too loud, a defense mechanism kicking in. The audience titters, still hesitant, sensing something under the surface. It wasn't shade, Jimmy. It was a statement of fact. Many communities feel disconnected from national media narratives. She adjusts her glasses slightly, a deliberate small movement. Well, that's why we have you here, to connect, bridge the gap, tell us. What's the biggest misconception people have about Washington right now? Keep it snappy, though. We've got a commercial break breathing down our necks. He taps his watch playfully, rushing her, controlling the pace. The biggest misconception. She pauses, lets the silence hang again, makes him wait. Is that the loudest voices are the most important, or the most accurate? Her eyes stay locked on his, unwavering. He nods quickly. Okay, interesting, like who? Name names, give us the juice, Congresswoman. He's pushing for gossip, for the easy soundbite, reducing her role. She offers a small, almost imperceptible headshake. It's not about individuals, Jimmy. It's about the performance of outrage often substituting for genuine debate. Theatrics over substance. Performance theatrics. The words hang there, directed. He leans back, a flicker of something crosses his face. Annoyance, surprise. The audience murmurs softly. A low buzz, they felt that. Performance, strong words. Some might say Congress itself is pretty theatrical these days, all that arguing back and forth. He tries to flip it back, deflect, generalize. There's a difference between passionate advocacy for constituents and manufactured conflict for cameras. Advocacy, manufactured, the contrast is sharp, precise. Okay, let's talk about those glasses, very distinctive, very Clark Kent, hiding any superpowers under that sharp suit, Congresswoman. He's reaching now, trying humor again, trying to disarm her by focusing on her appearance, infantilizing her. The audience groans softly this time, a few uncomfortable coughs. It's a misfire, obvious. She smiles faintly, it doesn't reach her eyes. They help me see things clearly, Jimmy, what's right in front of me. The implication is clear, what she sees clearly right now. He forces another laugh. Good one, sharp, like I said. Okay, don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back with more from the very insightful Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. After this. He turns to camera one, relief washing over his face, saved by the break. But the camera lingers on her for a second too long. Her expression hasn't changed, calm, composed, waiting. The applause sign flashes, the audience claps mechanically. The energy in the room has shifted, it's thick with something unspoken. The floor director counts down, 5, 4, 3. Kimmel's smile drops the second the red light goes off. He takes a sip of water, avoids looking her way. She just sits there, poised, ready for round two. The quiet is louder than the applause was. And we're back with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, Democrat from Texas. Now, during the break, we were talking about seeing things clearly. He tries to pick up the thread, but his tone is slightly off, a little forced. You've been quite vocal lately, making waves. Some people really admire your directness. Others find you abrasive. How do you respond to that? The whole abrasive label often thrown at women in politics. He frames it as a neutral question, but the emphasis on abrasive lingers, setting a trap. It's interesting, isn't it? What gets labeled abrasive versus passionate or authoritative? She looks out towards the audience for a moment, connecting with them. Often depends on who's speaking and who's listening. The audience is quiet now, leaning in, really listening. So you think it's sexism? Is that what you're saying? Put a fine point on it. He presses, wants the soundbite, wants the controversy. I think language is powerful, and labels can be used to dismiss valid points without actually engaging with them. Calling someone abrasive is easier than addressing the substance of their argument, especially if that substance makes you uncomfortable. Her gaze returns to him, direct, steady. The air crackles. He seems taken aback by the directness, the lack of defensiveness. Okay, fair enough, but you can't deny politics right now is ugly. Lots of personal attacks. You yourself have had some pretty sharp exchanges. On Twitter, in committees, does that level of combat ever get to you? Does Jasmine Crockett ever just want to tell everyone to, take a hike? He chuckles, trying to make it relatable. Humanize the conflict in a way that softens its edges, maybe implying she's part of the problem. There's a difference between combat and holding people accountable. Accountable, that word again, it lands hard. I wasn't elected to make friends in Washington, Jimmy. I was elected to represent my constituents, their concerns, their needs. Sometimes that requires difficult conversations. Sometimes it requires pushing back against narratives that harm them. The conviction in her voice is quiet but absolute. Narratives like, give me an example, something specific. He senses an opening, wants details he can pick apart. Narratives that suggest asking for basic dignity is somehow radical. Narratives that paint entire communities with one broad, dismissive brush. Narratives that prioritize civility over justice. Each phrase is delivered with measured precision. He shifts again, picks up his mug, stares into it for a second. Civility, that's a big one. People say we've lost it. Don't you think there's value in just being nicer to each other, finding common ground? Isn't that what people want? It sounds reasonable, a plea for niceness, but it feels like another attempt to deflect, to tone police. Civility is important, but it can't be used as a shield to avoid hard truths, or as a weapon to silence legitimate dissent. True civility requires respect, and respect requires acknowledging inequality, not pretending it doesn't exist for the sake of comfort. Her response is immediate, practiced but authentic, like she's had this conversation 1,000 times. The audience is completely silent now, rapt. He forces a smile. Wow, okay, you've really thought about this. It's quite the perspective. Almost sounds like something you'd hear in a sermon. A subtle dig, framing her conviction as preachy, trying to undermine her authority with faint, backhanded praise. A few people in the audience draw a sharp breath, audible. Did he really just say that? She pauses, a long, deliberate pause, lets the comment hang in the air, lets the audience absorb it. Her eyes narrow almost imperceptibly. It's not a sermon, Jimmy. Another pause, even longer this time. It's called doing the work. Maybe you should try it sometime. The silence that follows is deafening. Pin drop quiet. Then a single clap from the back. Then another. And suddenly the audience erupts. Not laughter this time, applause, loud, sustained applause mixed with audible O, S and wow, S. Kimmel looks stunned, blindsided, his face flushes slightly. He opens his mouth, then closes it, lost for words. The camera zooms in slightly on Crockett. She hasn't moved, her expression is unchanged, calm, level. She just holds his gaze, letting the audience's reaction speak for itself. The power in the room hasn't just shifted, it's completely flipped. He stares out at the clapping audience, bewildered, then back at her. The applause continues, unprompted by the flashing sign, genuine. He finally manages a tight smile. Okay, folks, okay, settle down, we still have a show to do. Wow, Congresswoman Crockett clearly striking a chord. We'll be right back. Don't go away, please don't go away. He turns to camera, almost pleading. The charm is gone, replaced by visible unease. The music swells, cutting off the applause abruptly. But the echo remains. The commercial break feels longer this time, tense. Crew members avoid eye contact with Kimmel. He's flipping through his notes, jaw tight, muttering to a producer who looks equally stressed. Crockett sips her water calmly, occasionally nodding to someone off stage, composed, untouched by the chaos she just unleashed. It's like watching a chess master who just checkmated her opponent without raising her voice. The producer leans in, whispering something urgently to Kimmel. He shakes his head, gestures towards Crockett with his pen, looks frustrated. She catches the gesture. Her eyes meet his for a brief second across the stage. No hostility, just observation. He looks away quickly, bothered. The floor director starts the countdown again, louder this time, trying to regain control. 5, 4, 3, 2. Kimmel forces the smile back on. It looks painted on, brittle. And we're back, still here with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Quite a reaction before the break there. You certainly know how to command a room. He's trying to frame it as performance again, as calculated charisma, trying to regain his footing. It wasn't about commanding anything, Jimmy. It was about speaking plainly. Sometimes plain truth resonates more than rehearsed lines. She subtly throws his earlier comment back at him. Rehearsed lines. He flinches slightly, barely perceptible. Okay, plain truth. Let's talk plain truth about bipartisanship, or the lack thereof. Is it even possible anymore? Can you really work with people you fundamentally disagree with? People who perhaps don't operate from the same set of facts? A legitimate question, but the subtext feels pointed, aimed at her perceived lack of compromise. It's not about liking everyone. It's not about agreeing on everything. It's about finding specific areas where progress is possible without compromising core values. And it requires everyone operating in good faith. That's the key. Good faith. Good faith, do you see that often, across the aisle? Sometimes, not always, but you have to keep trying, because the alternative is gridlock. And gridlock hurts the people we're supposed to serve. It hurts my constituents in Dallas. It hurts people across the country. She brings it back to the people, always. It reminds me, there was this case early in my career, before politics, public defender's office. A shift in her tone, quieter, reflective, the audience leans in again. I represented a young man, accused of something serious. The evidence was thin, shaky, circumstantial at best. The prosecutor, he was relentless, saw it as a slam dunk, kept talking about putting this thug away. Didn't see the scared kid underneath, didn't want to see him. Kimmel looks surprised by the anecdote, unsure where it's going. I knew my client wasn't perfect. He'd made mistakes. But he wasn't the monster the prosecutor painted him to be, and he didn't do this. I gathered everything. Police reports, inconsistencies, alibi witnesses the detectives barely interviewed, laid it all out, calmly, factually. During the pre-trial hearing, the judge listened, really listened. The prosecutor kept objecting, getting louder, more performative, trying to intimidate. She pauses, takes a slow breath. The judge finally cut him off, turned to me, said, "Counselor, despite the volume from the other side, your argument has merit. Let's look closer at this." We did, and the charges were eventually dropped. The prosecutor was furious, complained I wasn't playing the game right. She looks back at Kimmel. My point, Jimmy, is that substance can prevail over noise. Accountability can happen, even when the system or the person with the louder microphone tries to drown it out. You just have to stay focused on the truth and trust that others will recognize it, eventually. The studio is utterly silent. You could hear a pin drop. That story lands with quiet force, contextualizing her entire demeanor, her restraint, her precision. Kimmel seems genuinely moved for a second. or maybe just momentarily disarmed. Wow, that's quite a story. Thank you for sharing that. Public defenders, unsung heroes, truly. He tries to pivot smoothly, but the comparison is there. Him as the loud prosecutor, her as the calm defender of truth. So back to Washington. He tries to steer it back to safer ground. Politics, policy, process. But the ground has shifted beneath him. The audience sees her differently now. He sees her differently. He asks a few more standard questions about legislation, about the upcoming midterms. Her answers remain direct, concise, but the energy is different. She holds the center now, effortlessly. He seems almost subdued, asking questions carefully, less interruption, less forced humor. The clock is running down. The interview is almost over. He looks at his notes, takes a breath, one last attempt. Congresswoman Crockett, it's been illuminating, really. You're clearly very passionate, driven. Any final thoughts for people watching tonight? People who feel maybe unheard, like those constituents you mentioned. It's a standard closing question, but his delivery is softer now, less edge, almost respectful. She looks directly into the camera, not at him, at the audience, at the people watching at home. Your voice matters, your experience is valid. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Don't let the noise drown you out. Demand accountability, demand substance, and remember. She pauses, the final beat. Quiet strength is still strength. Often it's the strongest kind. The camera holds on her face, calm, resolute. The applause sign lights up. This time the applause feels different, not explosive like before, but warm, respectful, appreciative. Kimmel claps along, a genuine small smile this time, looks almost relieved it's over. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, everyone, thank you so much for being here. She gives a slight nod, acknowledging him, acknowledging the audience. We'll be right back with whatever else we have planned. Stick around. The theme music swells, the lights fade. But the feeling lingers, that quiet strength, that unexpected shift. The air in the studio feels cleaner somehow, lighter. Something significant just happened, and everyone felt it. The next morning it begins. A clip surfaces online, just 30 seconds long. Kimmel's sermon comment. Her pause. It's not a sermon, Jimmy. The longer pause. It's called doing the work. Maybe you should try it sometime. The audience eruption, Kimmel's stunned face. It lands on Twitter first, X, whatever it's called now. Posted by a random audience member's cousin. Initial reactions, shock emojis, fire emojis, skull emojis. OMG, did she really say that to Kimmel? The audacity, the poise. Kimmel got Kimmeled. Jasmine Crockett, Jimmy Kimmel, live quiet power doing the work. The hashtags start trending, slowly at first, then rapidly accelerating. The clip jumps to TikTok, stitched, duetted, lip-synced. Audio becomes a meme, used over videos of people calmly shutting down nonsense. It's called doing the work, becomes a catchphrase. Instagram reels break down her body language, the slow blinks, the steady gaze compared against his visible discomfort, the shifting, the forced smiles. Cable news picks it up by mid-morning. Split screens, pundits debating. Was Crockett disrespectful? Did Kimmel cross a line? A masterclass in handling condescension. Late-night host gets schooled on live TV. Headlines pop up everywhere. Variety. Jasmine Crockett's Kimmel appearance goes viral after tense exchange. The Hill, Crockett, doing the work line ignites online firestorm. Fox News, Democrat rep clashes with liberal host Kimmel. MSNBC, the power of Crockett's calm resistance. Think pieces start appearing. Vox Slate, The Atlantic. Analyzing the power dynamics, the gendered expectations, the racial undertones of calling a black woman abrasive or preachy. The role of late-night talk shows in political discourse. The effectiveness of quiet accountability versus loud confrontation. Her past, the public defender's story circulates, adding weight, context. People dig up old committee hearing clips, her sharp questioning, her calm demeanor under pressure. A pattern emerges. This wasn't a one-off. This is who she is. Kimmel's team is silent initially, no statement. His social media is flooded. Some defending him, saying it was just banter, she was too sensitive. Others demanding an apology, criticizing his attempt at humor that fell flat, his condescension. Her office releases a simple statement. The Congresswoman appreciated the opportunity to speak directly to the American people about the issues facing her constituents and the country. No gloating, no victory lap, just direct on message. Podcast discussions explode over the next few days. Political analysts, comedy critics, sociologists, dissecting the moment frame by frame, the audience reaction as a turning point, the authenticity resonating. You saw the exact moment he realized he'd lost the room. She didn't raise her voice, she raised the stakes. It wasn't just a comeback, it was a correction. The conversation spirals, broader themes emerge. Respect in public discourse, the weaponization of civility, the expectations placed on women, especially women of color, in positions of power. How to respond to microaggressions, the power of strategic silence. It transcends the usual political fight. It becomes a cultural moment. People share their own doing the work stories, times they pushed back calmly but firmly. The phrase appears on t-shirts, mugs, internet graphics. It resonates because it feels real, earned. Not a performance, but a reflection of quiet, consistent effort meeting a moment of public underestimation. And Jasmine Crockett, she's back in committee hearings asking tough questions, calmly, directly. Doing the work. The cameras watch her differently now, with a little more understanding, a little more respect. The echo of that studio audience's applause lingers, not just in the room where it happened, but across the country, online in conversations. A quiet ripple gaining strength.